Good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for listening. This is the Real Pineapple, and this is your solo host today. This is Hunter. I'm flying solo. Scott had something come up, and Colin is actually getting into Reno as we speak. So we will be able to record Spider-Man together, Homecoming together. But I'm doing all these reviews solo. So as I mentioned a couple weeks ago, I said, hey, I was going to try to review every Spider Man movie that has come out live action before Homecoming. So, this is the review for Spider Man 2, which, just to get this out of the way, so, and I know people are like, what? Spider Man 2, for me, is like the Goonies. Everyone loves the Goonies. Everyone I talk to fucking loves the Goonies. And I went and I watched the Goonies. I don't get it. Now, I think I saw it when I was 14, 15, so maybe I was past the expiration date to love it. But at the same time, I've seen things like, like Moana and like the Penguins of Madagascar, and these movies that are clearly made for kids, and I go, man, that was fun. So I don't know what it is about the Goonies that just doesn't click with me, but I don't know. It's just it doesn't hit for me. That's part of the reason I haven't watched Stranger Things yet. Yep, yes, I know. I'm that person who hasn't watched Stranger Things because everyone tells me it's like the Goonies, and that really horrifies me. But I will have a review up for Stranger Things. We'll have a review up for that in the next couple months because Scott loves that show. But anyways, so Spider-Man 2 is one of those movies I enjoy. I think it's good. Not great though, and I'll kind of get into why I think so. So, kind of jumping off here. So, Spider-Man 2 picks up pretty much right after Spider-Man 1, which if you haven't seen, and I won't spoil it, even though the movie's 15 years old, it ends on kind of a downer. It's one of those, oh wow, shit, that's how we're ending. All right, cool. And the movie really does pick up basically with Peter Parker just trying to juggle all of his shit. I mean, he's in school, he's trying to make ends meet, he's trying to woo Mary Jane. He's being Spider-Man. He's trying to be there for his aunt since she doesn't have anyone anymore. Like he's joking a lot of shit. And if there is one thing this movie does a great job of doing, it's of really making you feel the pressure that Peter is under and trying to balance all these different plates. And you feel bad for him because the movie starts off with him needing to deliver these pizzas, and he runs late to that job, which means he runs late for trying to get the pizzas delivered. I can't remember. I think it's Joe's Pizza or something like that, and he's got 20. They're guarantees like 29 minutes or less, and so he's on the scooter trying to deliver the pizzas. And just a complaint right out the gate, the first thing I thought is, man, if I was Peter Parker, I would switch in that Spider-Man suit immediately. I wouldn't have even gotten on the scooter. But he tries the scooter and deliver the pizzas. Of course, he's late. He gets fired, and at this point, he's still he's trying to make ends meet by himself. He's living in an apartment by himself, this not awesome one with this shitty landlord. He's trying to woo Mary Jane, and that's not going well. He's just tired. He's trying to do all this shit, and I just I don't know. It's really kind of rough to watch, especially if you love the character. One thing I love is, and I'm blanking on the comedian's name. I think it's Darren or Donnie something, but Ashley Larry from Chappelle's Show. He makes a cameo. He makes a cameo in this within the first like 15, like 10, 15 minutes or so, and that made me laugh really hard. I was like, oh, Ashley Larry, that's really cool. But um, so with this movie, you get a little more interaction between him and Dr. Kirk Connors, who would have become the Lizard if they hadn't pulled Sam Raimi off of these and you ruined his plan. But he gets to talking to Dr. Kirk Connors, who's one of his teachers, and he introduces him to Otto Octavius, who is played by Alfred Molina. I still think it's probably the biggest role he's had. Maybe not his best role, but probably the biggest one. And basically, he's writing a paper on him, and he's trying to go ahead, basically, Dr. Octavius, and basically harness energy, like create this machine that's able to harness energy. The energy, the same amount of energy as the sun gives off, as the movie totes. And what I really love about the character of Otto Octavius is that he's just kind of an asshole as the movie as the movie keeps going. I feel like, and this is kind of my complaint against the character outside of his Doc Ock costume, which I thought was just fucking atrocious. They really try to make him sympathetic, and as he's explaining the science to Peter, because Peter goes over to his house and has dinner with him and his wife, all I'm sitting there thinking is, you can't sustain this. Even if I didn't know anything about the comics or about your character, there's no way you can sustain that amount of energy and not even being a huge science person. But so when things go bad, it's yeah, it's sad, and seeing his wife get killed, it's really depressing actually. They have this really great shot of this glass breaking, and it turns up so you see a reflection in it. It's a masterful Raimi shot. I went, oh, Sam Raimi, you're so good at this. And it's sad. It's really sad when she gets killed, but at the same time, the way he goes off the deep end, just starts trying to kill everybody, it's not exactly justified. But that and the reason why he's able to try to build this machine basically is because he's got the backing of Oscorp. Harry Osborn, played again by James Franco. If you haven't seen his Comedy Central roast, by the way, watch that. But James Franco, he really starts to own the character of Harry Osborn, because you just see him really starting to break down. Similar in the way that Peter's breaking down with all this pressure of trying to balance everything. Harry is just his not quite snapped, but he's getting there with. If you don't remember, or haven't seen it, basically when Willem Dafoe's Norman Osborn, aka the Green Goblin, kills himself. He kills himself using his own glider, trying to kill Spider-Man, and Spider-Man basically drops him off at the Osborn home. And the first thing Harry sees is Spider-Man with his dad's body. He of course freaks out, grabs a gun. Spider-Man pops out and leaves. So he's just obsessed with trying to kill Spider-Man. So anytime he sees Peter, Harry is such a dick. You know, Peter at the beginning of the movie says, "Oh yeah, I'm so sorry, man. Like, I haven't returned your calls. I've been busy." And he goes, "Oh, taking pictures of your friend, that bug, Spider-Man." You're like, "Damn, dude, calm down." And all I thought is, you work for Oscorp. You couldn't give Peter a job like in the science department, so you wouldn't have to take pictures of Spider-Man. No, can't do that. Okay, whatever. But but anyways, I digress. So Octavius, basically the arms that he has fused to his neck, that he had a some sort of sensor in there so that they don't control him, that gets destroyed in the incident. So he becomes Doctor Octopus, and that's where the movie really takes off, because you get this really cool action scene where he's in a bank and he's just trying to steal, all the money he can to get the supplies to rebuild this machine that he's using to harness all his energy. And I don't know if I'm sure you guys had, if you've had something thrown at you, even just like a quarter or something like that, you're like, oh, that's kind of irritating, but it thinks off your head, like, oh, all right. There's a point where he's just using his tentacles and he's throwing just pounds of money, just bags of coins at Spider-Man. There's this point he hits him in the face with one, and he falls off of this beam and hits off the banking counter. I went, damn, that would kill you, but whatever. Uh, it's really really cool though, and that whole action scene. Plus, Joe McHale is the person who's trying to work with Peter and Aunt May on getting a loan. So that was kind of weird. You see a lot of actors that went on the bigger shit here. Joe McHale's in this. Of course, Bruce Campbell's in this. Elizabeth Banks works at the Daily Bugle. It's kind of crazy to see these actors from they were so baby faced and where they're at now. But it's really cool though, and I think it may not break my top five, and I realize I'm jumping around here. Stick with me, but the train scene on this movie, where there's a point where Doc Ock is fighting Spider-Man on the train, and it's just the coolest scene, the way it's choreographed, the way it's shot. Spider-Man 2 came out 2005, 2005, I want to say, and it still holds up as far as the CG and the action scenes. 2004, pardon me. Wow, they got that up quick. 2 years, damn. But it's so cool looking the way it's shot, and it looks wonderful, and you really get that New York vibe. They do a really good job of really pushing that a little more here. Um, there, there are just so many points in this movie where I go, "Damn it, Peter," and you get those same feelings reading the comic. There's a point where Mary Jane looks at him and basically dares him, "Tell me you love me. Tell me you love me," and he just can't do it. And I'm sitting there. I think I was 16 at the time when this came out. I'm yelling, 16, 17. I'm yelling, "Dude, fucking say something. Say that you love her. God damn it, just say it. Say it." And he can't do it. He just can't do it. And it breaks my heart because I want him to just say that he loves her, and he can't. But one thing about this movie that does really work is that the whole everyone is just busting Peter's chops. Whether it's Dr. Kurt Connors, you Peter says, "Hey, I'm sorry, I've been really busy. I'm trying," and he goes, "Trying's not a major here," or something to that effect. I went, "God damn, dude. Yeah, I know, not responsible, but don't make him feel like shit." Uh, pretty bad. And then even Alfred Molina's Otto Octavius, when he goes to write the paper on him and meet him for dinner, he even says, "Yeah, so Dr. Connors tells me that you're brilliant. He also says that you're lazy." It's like, wow. It's like no one can give this motherfucker a break. Mary Jane is busting his chops because he can't make it to one of her plays because, he's Spider-Man. He's trying to save the world. Harry's busting his chops because he's taking pictures of Spider-Man so he can afford his small studio apartment. I mean, it's just everyone is on him. And I think the I, I think one scene, and it's just one of many scenes. One scene that really drove home how what I feel about the Peter Parker character. There's a point where he's sitting down with Aunt May, and keep in mind to this point that she just knows Aunt Ben, good God, Uncle Ben got killed, but he sits down for her and says, I basically, it was my fault. The guy who shot him was the guy I could have stopped because I was trying to make some extra money, and I didn't stop him because I got screwed. And that's the same guy who shot Uncle Ben. And there's this beautiful shot where he says, and I'm paraphrasing here, he says, "I'm so sorry. I tried to tell you so many times." And Sam Raimi cuts to Peter's hand on top of Aunt May's, and you just see her pulled away. And it is just such a beautifully heartbreaking shot where I went, "Damn, damn, damn, damn." It's sad. It's really sad to see. And she just walks out of the room, doesn't say a word. And it's just, it hurts. It genuinely made me choke up yesterday as I was watching it. But it's such an important, beautiful shot. And it's really after that Peter kind of throws in the towel and says, "I'm done." And it's really interesting to see how the how New York really reacts to Spider-Man not being around and how Doc Ock is kind of going crazy. It's really interesting actually from that social perspective to see everyone go, "Oh, Spider-Man is gone. Shit, that sucks." Um, it's really cool. By the way, and again, I know I'm jumping around here, but there's a lot to get to. So there's a point where Doc Ock really early on, J.K. Simmons playing J. Jonah Jameson, who I fucking love. He's saying, "Oh, what do we call him? And one of his lackeys goes, "Doctor Octopus. What about that?" He's like, "That sounds stupid. I don't know." And then he says something else. He goes, "I don't like that." And they go, "What about Doctor Strange?" And he goes, "Oh, that's good, but it's taken." I don't know how the fuck I missed that as a kid. It's just a plain Doctor Strange reference in plain sight, and no one says anything about that for years. Really, no one calls out Doctor Strange reference. Anyways, but love it, love that scene, and there's so many points of humor here. A lot of them are with J.K. Simmons. There's this point where Peter, because he's struggling trying to pay for his apartment, and he asks, "Oh, can I get paid in advance for the Spider-Man pictures I'm going to take?" And the laugh J.K. Simmons gives, you have to just look up the laugh on YouTube because it's so goddamn funny. Just the clip alone, he laughs so goddamn hard and then looks at him and goes, "Wait, you're serious? You want an advance?" And I know it's a bad J. Jonah, but anyways, but it's really funny, and the movie is really funny. It, and I think one of the complaints I remember hearing from people that they went, "Oh, it's a little slapstick." Spider-Man's always been not slapstick, but goofy. That's why certain line runs like brand new day and things like that work. I always get Brand New Day and One More Day confused. I think I like One More Day more than Brand New Day. So pardon me. One of those is really bad. One of those is good. But uh, but that's what's made the character endure for so long, and they do a really good job of showing why Spider-Man really does work. For me, when it gets to complaints, I think about Doc Ock's costume. I fucking hate the costume. I hate the fact that you just have a fat dude in a trench coat, or dad bod in a trench coat. Because Alfred Molina's in decent shape, but it, they could. He had the metallic. He had the arms. They couldn't have given them the classic vest. Too. It was just kind of weird seeing him as a bum basically with tentacles. Just kind of bothered me. Mary Jane here. I it's not even her character. I just don't think they gave her a whole lot to do, to be honest. Um, it's kind of irritating, It's really cool from a narrative perspective to see where Spider-Man is, where he hangs, or where Peter Parker is when he hangs up. And he just gives up and throws the suit away, literally throws it in the trash. It's cool seeing him just being Peter Parker and seeing these little things, whether it's someone getting robbed or cops chasing a guy on foot or something, where he's kind of looking, thinking, "Oh, I need to be Spider-Man," and he just has to turn away to try and move on with his life. It's really crazy to watch, and you get that feeling of the character really struggling with that. Um, my biggest complaint about this movie, and it's really never addressed, and it kind of bothers me, is that Peter Parker, Spider-Man, he just stops. He's broken basically at a point. He can't shoot web. He can't jump high anymore, and it's never really explained at all. It's like he's impotent, and they just kind of go, "Well, okay." At one moment when Mary Jane is super threatened and Peter gets thrown through a wall, then he gets his powers back with no explanation. It just really bothered me. They could have said, he goes to the doctor even. They could have said, "Hey, the spider gene is regressing," or something like that. Something to explain that. And they give you nothing. So that just kind of bothers me. But I know I've been talking this movie up and a little bit while, talking about, some things I really didn't like about it. It's a good movie. It's a really good Spider-Man movie. It's just not as good as the first one for me, despite the action scenes being, I thought, better in this one. So I would give this a I would give this a B plus. Yeah, I'll give it a B plus because it's a really good movie. And while not, in my opinion, overall as good as the first one, I really did enjoy this one more in certain ways. There's some scenes of real tension. There's a point where Harry gets drunk at a party that Peter's shooting for after MJ gets engaged to J. Jonah Jameson's son, which, by the way, they never give him a retort or anything. They could have made him a villain. That would have been smart. But anyways, but Harry just kind of snaps. He's like, "You stole Mary Jane from me. You stole my father's love from me," and he slaps him. Now, one slap, maybe. But then he slaps Peter again, and I thought, dude, LL Cool J, Mama said knock you out, punches dude in the face, and Peter just stands there and takes it. And I went, damn, dude, you're better than me. I would have, if someone slapped me in the face like that, especially twice, that would have. Anyways, but yeah, B plus movie, damn good movie. Just not this probably wouldn't even break my top 10, honestly, for favorite superhero movies. There's easily 10 movies I could think of I like more. But anyways, Guys, what did you think of Spider-Man 2? Let us know in the comments below. Subscribe to us here on SoundCloud at The Real Pineapple 775 so you're the first to know when we have new reviews up. You can follow us on Podbean as well at The Real Pineapple. Like us on Facebook at The Real Pineapple. Follow yours truly on the Twitter at JHunterRealPineapple. You can follow Colin on Twitter at The Real, R-E-E-L, O'Neill. And you can follow Scott on Twitter at Nearman the First. Guys, thank you so much for listening. We'll have reviews up this weekend for Spider-Man Homecoming. Oh, I'm so excited. Only 3 more days. 3 more days? Yeah, we're seeing it. We're seeing it Thursday night. So 3 more days for Spider-Man. But guys, thank you so much. We'll talk to you soon. Peace.